All right, so earlier today we had a training session, live training session with Realvolve's Google Sync, and the audio quality was just not where it needed to be, so we decided to basically redo the training, re-record it in the studio, just so that we can train on this properly and make sure that everybody is able to hear the training properly. So, basically, again, going over the Realvolve Google Sync, the voodoo and black magic of what we do, which is kind of just a fun pun. Let's kind of figure out why are we using Google Sync. Well, for the most part, it's because all the mobile devices, or majority of them anyway, actually use Google within their system. They can sync to it automatically. So devices that use the Android system, they have built-in sync to Google. That's part of what Android does, is they synchronize to Google. iPhones, iPads, iTouch, all of them can synchronize to Google as well. So, what is it that we're actually synchronizing? In the system in Google, there's a section for contacts. There's also the calendar and the tasks, and within Realvolve, we're synchronizing to all three of those. To set up the Google Sync, basically you go to the drop-down menu, choose Settings, and then go to My Social Networks. Within that section, you'll see a Google account setup where you can click on Add Google Account. It will take you through a couple different prompts for selecting the proper Google account. You want to make sure that you select the correct one for what you want to synchronize with Google. And that's really important to do it correctly the first time to prevent any challenges later. Once you have that set up, once you've got the connections, then you can go in under that same drop-down menu, Settings, Google Sync. And in here, there is a section for choosing what you want to synchronize. And you can choose to synchronize with the contacts. You can also choose to synchronize with the activities or the calendar and tasks of Google. Whenever you place a check mark in the checkbox, it will then be able to synchronize those for you automatically. Now, what is it that we actually synchronize for these? Both in contacts and the activities of Realvolve, whenever you enter data into either one of those, either the calendar, the tasks, or the contacts themselves, it will synchronize automatically to Google. Now, in the very near future, we'll be adding some additional capabilities for synchronizing from Google back to Realvolve automatically as well, or instantaneously as well. Right now, what happens is whenever you synchronize information from Realvolve into Google, it does it automatically. But Google didn't have until very recently the ability to synchronize or to notify those software applications that synchronize with them that there has been a change. And now that Google has that capability, we're in the process of adding those features to be able to synchronize automatically whenever something changes. So if you're entering data on your phone, it synchronizes to Google automatically. But at that point, synchronizing from Google back to Realvolve happens at this point every hour and once a day within the calendar itself. But that will be automatic very soon. You can synchronize contacts and activities instantaneously both ways by clicking on the Sync Now. So if you want to synchronize your contacts or you want to synchronize the activities, you can click on the Sync Now. There are two settings that we want to make sure that you're aware of within the Google Sync settings that are really very important. Over the past few months that we've been utilizing the Google Sync, we've had a few customers testing and utilizing the information or utilizing the system with us. And a few of them, whenever they synchronized, it synchronized all their activities like you would normally want. However, because they had used Google for some time, going back to like 2007, all the activities from Google were brought into Realvolve. And a few of them said, well, really all I want are just this past years or just this past few months. So what we've done is we've added the ability to allow you to select when do you want the sync to start from. So in this case, it shows you September 22nd, 2014. You could click on that, change it to whatever start date or whatever beginning date that you want all the activities from within Google to synchronize back into Realvolve. Once you've got that set, click on Sync Now and it will go ahead and synchronize as planned. Now, the other thing that we want to tell you about is within Google, the the calendar items, the activities themselves, do not have a completed date. When did you complete an activity? It just assumes that it's on the calendar. Once it goes by, it's assumed that it's done. Well, that's not something that we do within Realvolve. We actually have to indicate that something has been completed. We want to make sure that you're checking those things off. Well, because Google doesn't have a completed date, we've added this setting of old activities as completed from a certain date. So say for instance if you did decide that you wanted to get all of 2014, you might set up from September 1st back to January 1st. All those activities would be automatically marked as completed. Now you can set it as the same date and then manually go through, but if you're like some of the users that we've got, there may be hundreds or thousands of activities, and going through and manually marking those is just extremely tedious. So by assigning a completed date for anything prior is the best way of going there. So just want to make sure that you're aware of those two settings. If you'll check those start dates, it'll prevent an overloaded account. Very important. Okay, so what is it that we actually synchronize? We synchronize the names, the titles, companies, the tags, or the groups. Within Realvolve, we call them tags. Google calls them groups. The email addresses, phone numbers, your homework and other addresses, as well as birthdays, websites, and the notes. Now, within the notes section, you'll notice that Google only has one note field. Realvolve has an unlimited number of notes. So what happens is whenever we synchronize notes from within Realvolve back into Google, we place it in a certain format so that you can see the notes. You'll notice that there's a little indicator that's a note, the date that note was entered, and then whatever information was within that note. And you could have multiples of those. Something that's important to understand is there is a dotted line here, dashed line, for allowing you to add new notes. So whenever you are entering notes from your phone, or if you enter notes from your tablet within Google itself, it's very important that you add any new notes that you want saved back into Realvolve above this line. So you would just click in and start typing above that line. That way it would add those pieces back into Realvolve. But all this information actually synchronizes and makes it very easy for you to keep it done automatically. Within the calendar, basically the same type of thing. All the activities, all the tasks, any kind of repeating activities or exceptions to those repeating activities. Deleted repeats even. So if you've got certain activities that do repeat but you delete certain items, those get synchronized. You can see it both in your daily, weekly, monthly views, and even the workflow activities within Realvolve, those synchronize as well. If your device is not an Android device, if it's an iPhone or other mobile device, you could go to www.google.com/sync, SYNC. And at that website, there are links and training videos and stuff for setting up your mobile device. It's very easy to do. Just typically, it's just a matter of adding your username and password, deciding what you want to synchronize, and let the mobile device do all the processing for you. Very simple. One thing that we do want you to be aware of, and how we break these up for the calendar and tasks, within Realvolve there is the calendar. Now this one is showing the week view in this sample here. Anything that has a date, it's on a given date and it has a time, or if it's in the all day section, those will synchronize back into Google into the calendar section. Just like they're shown here, they'll be going into the calendar section on Google. Anything that is what we consider a task, it's something that either does not have a date at all, there's no date or no time associated with it, or it may have just a date only, no time, and it's not an all-day event. Those can be items that are in a checklist, and those would show in your Google tasks on the right hand side whenever you're viewing tasks, and we'll show a sample of that here in just a few minutes. Some safety measures. One of the things that we've done within the contacts, because contacts are so important to make sure that you prevent problems, we've added some safety measures into the system. So if you go in and you delete contacts within Google, they do delete from Realvolve as well whenever you got the synchronizing set up. But what it does is it does put any of those contacts into the Realvolve trash. So you can go into your settings, go into trash, you'd be able to see any of those names that you've deleted from Google, and if you needed to restore them, you certainly could. If you delete anything from Realvolve, it will still go into the trash, but it does also delete it from Google. So both of those scenarios take you to a trashed activity or contact, and it then can be restored if needed. If you do restore a contact from the trash, it will go back into Realvolve just as a normal contact, but then we also synchronize it right back to Google as well. So some important safety measures there. For the calendar and tasks, we do not have the trash piece set up, at least not right now. That may be something we add in the future if there's enough call for it. But because activities don't have as many parts of information to them, the need of keeping a trash, because so many times you do add and delete, we didn't want to mess with dealing with the trash on calendar items. But those are some safety elements and stuff. So now what I want to do is we're going to go over to our browser here, and we're going to take a look at some information within Realvolve. So just showing you how the synchronization works, how easy it is to do. So here I am at Tony Stark's contact record, and maybe I have a phone number, a mobile number for him. I can put in that mobile number, and it adds it to the system. So now it's in RV, it's in Realvolve. At that exact same time, it's gone ahead and put it into Google Sync. Now, if you just immediately switch over to it, you'll probably have to click on the refresh just to see that it does refresh the Google screen. It doesn't automatically save it, but you'll see immediately that we have the home mobile phone number 555-9999, just like I added. Any of the changes that you do within Realvolve's contact record are synchronized automatically. Going back to that scenario where we might add an extra record, I could come into Google. I could make a change here and say this is a new note during training, whatever. So typing in some information there, I can make other changes as well. Now what happens is whenever you make changes within your phone or within Google itself, again, right now we don't have the automatic notifications built in since Google just recently added those, but those will be coming. But right now, um, basically it will synchronize for you automatically every hour. So if we wanted to wait an hour, this information would come in there. But what you can do, if you really want to make sure that it's synchronized, you can click on the drop down menu, click on settings, and within settings I can go back here to the Google Sync. I can click on my Sync Now button, and that will force a sync at that point in time. So now if I go back to my dashboard, if I go back to, before I go there, you'll notice that the note is already showing up on my dashboard, which is any new notes and information that's there. But I can also go to Tony Stark, and I can go to his radar, and you'll see that the note has been added as well. So all of that synchronizes very efficiently and well. So whenever it does synchronize, if I refresh this, you'll see that now that note that we had added above the line, because it's synchronized back to Realvolve, it immediately synchronizes back to Google as well and refreshes the note system so that you can see that there are two notes, the associated date and times that go along with them, and keeping those in date order. Now, I'm going to go back here and I want to describe a couple more things that's very important for you guys to know about. First off, the imported from Google. Anytime that names are imported from Google and added into Realvolve, we add this tag called imported from Google, just so that you know where this contact did come from. The other thing that's important to know is this system group, My Contacts. Within Google, any contacts that you put into the database can be put into any of the different classifications associated with the groups that are in there. But you can also assign them to this My Contacts, and this My Contacts is the same as the system group My Contacts within Realvolve. One thing to note that you guys should know that's very important, especially if you're an iPhone user or any of the Apple products, I believe, they only synchronize with contacts that are in this My Contacts. So what we do within Realvolve is whenever you add a new contact into Realvolve and it synchronizes, it will automatically add this system group My Contacts. By doing that, it automatically puts it into the My Contacts screen within Google, and therefore it would then synchronize into your phone or mobile device. So I want to make sure that whenever you guys go through the process of adding stuff, that you don't really want to, normally you don't want to mess with this system group. That's there for a purpose. You can add other tags, any kind of tags that you want to the contact, and they will be automatically added here into Google. If the tag is not available within the list, it'll go ahead and add it and then make it available to you. So that's pretty much it for the contacts side. Want to go ahead and show you a couple samples on the calendar. Within the calendar, I'm going to go to a week view here, and within the calendar we might have set up an office meeting, and I'm going to go from maybe 8 to 10, and we're going to set up an office meeting. Okay, so it goes ahead and adds that activity into our calendar. If I come over here to the Google calendar and click on the refresh on there as well, you'll see that it immediately adds the office meeting back into the calendar so that I can make any kind of changes to it if I want to from the calendar. I can also immediately see it if I look at it on my phone. It's immediately on my phone as well, which is really, really sweet. Any kind of reminders that you may have set up within Realvolve would also come over into the Google side so that you can be notified by pop-up notification or email is done by Google, which is very sweet. The other thing that we might have on this office meeting, maybe this is a weekly meeting. I'm going to come here and we're going to click on Edit on this office meeting. And I want to, from the repeat section here, I'm going to click on the repeat and I'm going to choose that this is a weekly meeting. It's weekly every Thursday, and I don't have any kind of ending date on it, so it's just every Thursday. Click on Save on the repeating information, and then I'm going to click on Save here. So what this has done now is this has made not only for Thursday the 2nd of October, but if I go through each week of the year, you'll see that same office meeting showing up. Let me go over here to the calendar, and I'm going to go ahead and again refresh the calendar just to make sure it's there. But again, as we click on next, you'll see that each week it's already been put into the Google Calendar, which I don't know if you are familiar with Google syncing in other programs, but a lot of times you have to go through a process. Typically, once you add some information into your system, you have to go and click on Sync Now, or it's set up to synchronize every hour or something like that. Within Realvolve, we've really taken it the next step in making it so that it automatically synchronizes. If we come back over here into Realvolve, maybe I want to change this from an 8 to 10. I can change it, edit the date and time, and it would allow us to change it as well. There might be a case where on a given day I need to change. Let's just change it from 9 to 10, and click on Save on that. Now what's going to do is it's going to come up and say, hey, we've got a recurring activity and I need to know how do you want to handle this. And for this particular day, and this one only, I want to change it from 9 to 10. I could allow it to change from this activity forward, all of them being 9 to 10, or I can just say all activities, so no matter which section they're in, and it would automatically update those. In this particular case, I'm wanting to show that we've got exception capabilities, so I'm going to click on only this activity. So we've got it from 9 o'clock. So you'll see here on this activity, we've got from 9 to 10. And if I go back to any of the previous activities, they all show the 8 to 10. So on the 23rd is the only one that's odd there. If I go back to Google, refresh the calendar just so that I've got a refresh screen, and I click through here, if I look at the 23rd, again, it's been updated automatically. How sweet is that? Very nice. Now what I might do is I might come to the dashboard, and from the dashboard we can set up even a task here, say pick up signs on 123 Main Street. It is just maybe a to-do. I can assign a color. I don't want to assign a date or time. There's really nothing to do there. and I can choose a priority if I want to, but I just want to go ahead and create that. So what that does is that puts in an activity or a task within my system. And if I go over here to the Google Calendar and refresh, there's pickup signs on 123 Main Street. Now, something else that happens is if I come here and I've completed this activity, I place a check mark in it. It's been done, and then I can come over here to the Google Calendar. Sometimes if you wait just a few seconds, it will refresh automatically. Let's go ahead and hit the refresh. You'll see that it goes ahead and checks it off from the task list. Again, tasks have the ability to show them as being completed. Within the calendar itself, it does not. Those are just some neat features within Realvolve's Google Sync. A lot of things happening in the background automatically for you, so you don't even have to worry about it. You just set the plans, you set the workflows, you can add all your tasks. Anything that you add into your phone can synchronize back, but you currently do need to click on the sync now or wait just a little bit of time for it to synchronize. But that's just some of the really cool things. If you have any questions, please visit our website or send us an email. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I hope you have a great day.